Welcome back to the
Yo,
Tables
what
and
is
Evie
up
podcast.
with Elon today? I can't.
He's having a day, isn't he?
He's having a
One
day.
of those too much time on Twitter.
Yeah,
oh well.
he needs
Put
to
your
go get
phone
back to
down.
work.
Go to
Put your phone down,
Starbase or
Elon.
something. Go hang
Little
out with
too
Nick
much.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
I'm all for that.
what are the chances? Let's get this over with early. What are the chances AI Day is actually on August 19th?
Oh, I 100% believe it's August 19th of 2022.
Oh, you're predicting a year delay?
Yeah. No.
I'll be really impressed
So
if Nick
here's
is
the
right.
thing. I have put a little bit of thought into this. It could
Okay.
be the 19th for sure, but right now he's down here in Starbase working on getting a orbital test of Starship
Just
up
off camera.
by the 5th.
He's looking at him.
Yes, just off camera. Elon, do you want to come here and say hi? I mean, I do have another chair if you want to. No, you don't. Okay. That's fine.
He's still ranting about Epic.
He's still talking. He's talking to Tim over there on the phone. I think I can't quite tell, but anyway, yeah. So Elon is here at Starbase, getting all of the SpaceX employees motivated and helping big engineering problems, getting ready for an
Yes.
August 5th rumored orbital test. And so I think AI Day is kind of dependent on that orbital test. I give SpaceX like a 5% chance of making their August 5th date. I think
5th? Seriously?
yeah, like literally.
Whoa.
I know.
That's way too soon.
5 days from
when
now,
you
not happening.
yeah, it looks too soon, but like they have all the pieces there. I've been looking at it for days now. I think they can do August 5th. They could, but it's going to be close, and I think like beginning to middle of August is a lot safer bet. But they have
Yeah.
the pieces in place. They just need to put them all together for August 5th. So anyway, they're targeting an August 5th date over at SpaceX right now. And if that doesn't make it, Elon's going to be down here fixing the problems that are slowing them down, you know? And so if that SpaceX test gets delayed past the 19th, I don't see Elon making that or leaving Starbase for that at the moment. I think that he'd either join like on a Zoom call or just push it back. So I don't know.
Zoom call.
Nah, I mean, with his private jet, he could fly out.
He could, but like
Fremont
you
in
don't
an
understand
hour.
how much this guy works. Like, it's,
Well, I try to,
It's,
but-
no, I tried to too.
I just mean,
And
I believe-
and then,
I
and
believe
then I've
that-
seen how production has just gone crazy since he's been here. Like it's
I just mean
unreal.
he can like show up somewhere when he needs to on a dime. Like
sure.
The Plaid Model S event, I believe, was late because he was flying in.
Yes, this is true.
So he was like, he was not in the state, and there was an event that day. And he was like, oh, I guess we better get going. And then they flew him over, and that's why the event was like 30, 40 minutes late. It could be something similar with AI Day.
Sure, but I think it's mostly dependent on because his focus right now is not so much on Tesla. You know, it is he's spending all day, every day, kind of working through SpaceX stuff, and so
Okay.
But he was at Texas
know.
for the
he
shareholder
was. Yeah, that was kind of cool
meeting.
on Monday.
Yeah. So he darts around back and
Oh yeah,
forth.
no,
I like that.
I track his jets. There are those Twitter accounts
Yeah.
where you can Elon jet and SpaceX jet or whatever.
It's not that creepy.
No, it's just a little creepy.
There's other people do it too.
Yeah, you're
Me and
pushing
60
J
other
levels.
thousand people do it. Okay, no, I don't.
I want to
actually
see how many
follow them.
followers
I don't actually
Elon
follow
Jet
them, but
has 64,000
wow. Okay,
creeps out there.
I don't. I'm not a follower of that. You can see that. I'm not a follower.
I'm not either, but yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, you could follow his jets around, and right now they're shuttling employees all over the place. But like they fly
Right.
around a lot, like
Sure.
as much as a commercial airline. Anyway, Randy, what did you think about Investor Day as the token Tesla investor here? What did you think? Did you have your monocle on the whole time?
I was counting all the times.
You weren't
he was
counting dollars. You'll be counting stars.
I was counting Bitcoin.
Oh, okay, that too.
Oh, yeah.
I was expecting sitting there like, come on, talk about Cybertruck. Come on, talk about Cybertruck.
Nope.
They did more than last time, to be fair.
To be fair, yeah. To be fair,
They said they're in the
yeah.
alpha phases and moving towards the beta phases.
So basically, everything that we were.
Did
Anyway,
you see the little people think there's Cybertruck bodies at Giga Texas?
I
Did
did
you see
see
those?
that.
Ooh, I did not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Please
I'll send
share.
you the link.
Please share.
I'm not
Yes.
convinced.
Oh,
I think they might
bummer.
not be, but I see why people think they are, because they're not exact Cybertruck shapes, but there's angles where it looks very similar.
So I wonder if they're like testing
so
out
it's
the
a-
presses or whatever instead.
Yeah, well, the 8,000-ton gigapress isn't there yet, so people are saying if these are real, they are most likely test exoskeletons that they maybe made in Fremont that they're using to calibrate equipment.
Yeah.
That's
But
fair.
I'm trying to find a close-up picture of it. I'm seeing all the faraway ones, but they're still there. I checked. They posted pictures this morning, and they haven't moved them. But I do wonder. I will give them credit that they wrapped them up pretty tightly, more so than you would like traditional steel beams. Not just some basic production construction equipment. Like, it looks specialized, and there's parts of it that look like the Cybertruck, but I don't know. It's a toss-up for me. I can't decide. Though it excites me.
Because you
I want it to be real.
can't decide.
Yeah. And then I just want Cybertruck updates of any kind. You know, any type of development going on, pointing to there being mass production of Cybertruck. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. I want to hear. I want to know what they're doing. Get me in the loop.
Yeah.
Did you just?
I listened. This is the first Tesla shareholder meeting I've listened to in a while, mostly because I've just always had other stuff going on, and not that I didn't care about it, but I knew I'd catch the highlights later. But this time I was just tank watching, so out there sweating in the hot Texas sun, and I was like, let's listen to Elon stutter his way through his prepared remarks, and then even more stutter his way through the questions. And let me just tell you, the worst question ever asked in any shareholder meeting ever was asked
There was
on
some
this
bad
earnings
ones.
call. The
Oof.
worst one. And it was so bad, they should have screened it. And I don't know why they didn't screen it. Like, it was from retail investors, and it was pre-written.
It's a good question.
It was submitted. Some dingus approved that and stuck it on the top of the list of what? Okay, this was the question. I'm gonna paraphrase for y'all. Elon, can you come to my podcast, please, on the regular basis? What on earth? No.
Yeah, that's essentially how it was phrased.
That was terrible. It was terrible. And Elon was just like, I'm busy getting humanity to Mars and
No,
fixing
leave me
global
alone.
warming.
He even said that was the tipping point. When they asked him that, he was like, I'm not going to be on these shareholder calls anymore.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that? It was like
And
he was going to do that eventually, but he chose right then to announce it.
Yeah.
Can you come on my podcast? I'm not going to answer these questions anymore. I'm just going to leave.
I gotta go.
I'm surprised he didn't leave right then and there.
I would
He
have.
just got up. Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.
It was
Have a good day.
crazy.
Yeah, there were some pretty bad questions, but they asked good questions. They just didn't
Some
give
people
good
did.
answers. Someone was asking if Cybertruck production was still on track for end of this year, and they said yesn't. That's it.
That's the most Tesla
We're
response
working
ever.
on it. Basically, they didn't want to say yes, it's delayed, but also it's probably delayed.
Good to know.
Because they didn't say yes or no. They were like, after Model Y. After Model Y, we will work on Cybertruck. When do you think that'll be? After Model Y. I don't know how else to tell you.
Yes.
Are you analyzing the photos, Randy?
I am.
I just
Okay.
did. So, based on these photos, I can 100% say I'm still worried about the Cybertruck, but this
Good.
makes me excited. So,
I'm
not sure if those are the Cybertruck, though. I can't
I'm not
tell.
either. It's a toss-up for me. I'm split down the middle because there's a little angular sharp point at
Yeah.
the top that looks very similar to the Cybertruck exoskeleton, but then you have these giant prongs on the front and back that look nothing like the Cybertruck, and it looks way too flat to be a truck, so I don't know if they're like covering the exoskeleton in something to make it less obvious.
How
but
big are these? We don't have much scale.
yeah, they look. There's no one standing by it, but they look close
use
to the size
use
the Cybertruck would
the
be.
caution tape as a measurement.
What? Oh my
There's a
gosh!
5-gallon
Hold
bucket behind
up. Oh, what if these are the Boring Company vans?
Oh, that'd be interesting. They're very sharp on the front and back, but yeah, it's definitely not a completed exoskeleton, or if it is, it's surrounded by something.
I'm gonna say yeah.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What tipped it over for you?
I'm remembering the seeing the hood in person.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right, you're relying on
We've
your
got our
personal experience.
first-hand-
Okay.
Yeah, he can compare it.
Yeah. These are huge, but no, they're not, because I'm using the yellow tape behind as gauging, and that is, yeah, I would say from what I saw on the prototype and looking at it, right, like this that might be the windshield, that might be the hood, but this is a piece of it for sure.
Right.
That angle.
That's how I feel.
That angle is too specific. That hood.
You don't think some construction equipment would accidentally fit the Cybertruck look?
If it
That would be
was,
pretty
it's
cool.
because they're. If it was to do that, it's because they're doing some more cyber stuff, which Elon said no. Which it could be a like let me try
I think it
to.
was Franz who
take
said
off the
no,
lead.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Franz says no,
And that's
and we're
from
not
a
even
person
there
from
yet.
a person. Yeah.
Yeah, like right now, focus is Cybertruck at Austin. Besides Y production, and I'm gonna say yes, because when I'm looking at the angle for this photo right here, okay,
Yeah.
this little dip that's happening right there
Yeah.
is Cybertruck. That might be the bed. Because it comes down that way.
Mm-hmm.
This is a shape of something. This is.
Well, I will at least give them. I'm not entirely convinced, but I'll give them credit that Tesla doesn't randomly wrap things with that green material and just drop them off at Giga Texas. So it'd be bizarre that there's only 3 of them and they're nowhere else. So.
Why didn't they wrap it, though? If this is a Cybertruck, why didn't they wrap it in that pre-production vehicle wrap that's totally disguised and no one ever...
Because it's pieces of it. It's pieces
not a
of
full
it.
truck. It's like a... Oh, okay.
Tesla's not going to be able to pull that one. If they roll a Cybertruck out with that,
There's really
weird
no point to doing that
I
at
know.
all.
It's just
Yeah.
it just screams, "Hi, I'm a prototype. Look at me."
Yeah.
That's all it does.
I never thought that worked very well on normal vehicles,
even on like a
and
Corolla.
it definitely wouldn't work on the Cybertruck. It's like it just makes more people look at the vehicle when it has the prototype wrap on it. But yeah, Cybertruck, you would know exactly what it is. It wouldn't hide anything. But this, I would say, this is potentially good news if it's convincing, Randy. And I'm more convinced by the minute, as I just think that nothing else on the site looks like this, and they put it in a weird spot. As far as I know, they haven't unwrapped them, so there must be some type of prototyping equipment that they want to calibrate. Now that section of the factory that's rumored to be for Cybertruck production is coming along pretty quick. They've almost got the steel all the way put up on the edges, and they're even putting roofing over it in that what is it, south western side of the factory. That's making great progress, so I guess this would be around the time they start actually prototyping some of that stuff. So that's good. That's something.
That's something.
We got to
That
counter
is
blessings with the
something.
Cybertruck. we don't get much on it, so if there's anything, we gotta applaud it.
More Cybertruck news than we've had to talk about in a while. So, hey,
And I am here for it.
Yeah. Well, that gets me excited. I would love to see more experimental equipment being tested. I just am disappointed that the Cybertruck section of Giga Texas is still listed as in development and not under construction.
Yeah.
That bums me out.
That's
And
Rag.
maybe they don't want one factory saying construction for more than one product, so it's possible that Giga Texas is going to be listing Model Y as construction until Model Y is in production, and then they'll move Cybertruck to construction. But yeah, that's the next stage you look for if you're waiting for a vehicle to get mass produced. But I'm sad by the semi delayed.
Sadness.
Yeah, that's
Official.
that's official.
Latest Tesla ever.
Womp, womp,
The record
womp.
has been broken, and it's not a good one.
At least,
Come on.
at least we're looking better about Cybertruck. You know, hey, at least that's not going to get delayed the same way. Maybe all this delay is going to make it for a better semi with range and
Oh yeah,
tech.
it'll have range.
Oh, it's gonna have range. That they'll have the seat coolers and they'll have all this other. Cool
I just
stuff.
think when they say 2022, that means
December?
fourth quarter at best. Yeah, I don't think when they say 2022 that means January or even the first or second quarter. When they say we're pushing it back to next year, that means very end of next year. So I'm just very bummed because the semi is amazing and it's been so long since we were promised production, and it's been so long since the unveiling. It's going to be like 5 years after the unveiling that we'll probably also get another delay or something like that. But yeah, I guess I'm more excited for Cybertruck though, to be fair. So
I think the priority is focused on the right things.
yeah,
People who are gonna crap on Tesla for you're using gas semis to move your EV. I mean, that's Elon already says like no, these combustible engine stuff is still very much a necessity today. It's not that
oh yeah,
they're ready to be.
I'm
away
sure
with
Nick
them.
can attest in Starbase how many.
Right?
There's literally thousands of pickup trucks down in Starbase. Unfortunately, none of them are
And
Cybertrucks.
none of or electric.
Or even electric. They don't even have a Rivian.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
There are tons of Model 3s and Model Ys.
If
But-
they
Blue
don't
Origin
have
has a
Model
Rivian.
3s and Model Ys. Where's the nearest charging station down there? How are they getting these things
They've
juiced
built
up?
one. So power down there seems to also be an issue, like bathrooms and all that fun stuff. So they have a few 1,000 kilowatt gasoline generators that are always going and just pluming out smoke.
Yeah.
So it's kind of always like, Tesla saving the environment. SpaceX just plumes of
I
smoke.
could just imagine the first batch of Cybertrucks just going straight to Starbase because I imagine every SpaceX employee that drives a pickup truck probably has a Cybertruck on order.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's just going to be hundreds of them as soon as that can be their test fleet. You know, they have the limited data
Cybertruck
for
would make
full
sense to have
self-driving.
them down there to help, like, for work purposes, doing transportations and
Well, yeah.
stuff like that.
It's the best truck ever. Makes
Period.
sense to have them anywhere.
Period.
But they are comfortable with steel down there, and they're probably all big Tesla fans. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
Can
there's
you-
a ton of Cybertrucks that are going to go straight there as soon as production.
They might be
gets
fans
up
of
and running.
Tesla. Can you imagine? Oh, I don't know about this Elon guy.
this Elon guy? And Elon
I
walks
was
up behind him and was like, "Walk
subcontracted out to
faster."
work on this.
Dude, most of the people working down here in Starbase are subcontractors. I think
yeah,
that was
I know.
something I didn't realize going into this.
Yeah, that's a thing.
They need all the hands they can get.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How
Yeah, I
did
don't know
you
about
feel-
this Elon guy. He's a bit quirky. He's a bit eccentric, don't you think? But hey,
I think he makes a lot of promises he can't keep. Is that nose cone on? Okay, good.
hey, you really think we're gonna go to Mars? Hey, you got that?
He thinks we could get to Mars. I don't know what that
I'm
guy's
just here
talking
for
about.
the paycheck,
All right.
baby.
The engine's good. Let's go.
Hey, the client said I needed to come down here for 3 months. I'm just doing what
Yeah.
I'm told, man.
Yeah.
How did you feel? I don't think we got a chance to talk about this, but about the confirmation of how the supercharging network is going to open up.
Yes.
Does that have you worried?
We haven't talked about this. This is
Yeah.
probably the biggest news of the week, just because we have, wow, not just keeping it exclusive to our idea. Like Elon, I know that we're best friends, Elon. but like you need to listen to us. We have some good ideas here.
I'm on our side of this one too. I don't mean to brag, but I think it was originally Nick's idea, and then we all ran with it. That would have been a smarter way to open it up, in my opinion. Would have extinguished the whole Tesla monopoly and being too exclusive thing without ticking off all of the Tesla owners.
Yeah.
And instead they chose to tick off the Tesla owners.
Yeah. That's I get the idea of, and Elon even kind of said this when they're talking about it, like they're trying to accelerate the transition to a sustainable future, which the best way to do that is to say Ford, Porsche, we're just going to give you our supercharging network, make more EVs. But I feel like that's a good PR move to say, hey, look how in support of EVs we are here. I don't think, though, because I think our idea is still a better way to get more EVs on the roads faster. Because it's if Porsche can say, oh,
the
okay,
legacy makers.
So now it's also supporting, the whole supercharger network, then we don't need to do anything else. We just keep making a few electric cars here and there that are going to sell even better now because now they have Tesla's supercharging network, which, by the way, Tesla spent billions of dollars making and has not seen much return on that. And I don't know. I really think just the small Apteria, Rivians, only brands that only sell all electric vehicles can use a supercharger. It's such a much cleaner idea, right, Elon?
It would not overwhelm the. There he is. It would not overwhelm the network.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing is, like, Tesla fans probably wouldn't even notice for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it would be a while before you go to a supercharger and just be like, oh, there's a Rivian here.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You guys can charge here? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hey, what's up, man?
Instead of what is more likely to happen.
Can we charge on the Adventure Network? Oh, man, it's not ready yet. It'll be ready maybe next month. It might take us a few more months, though.
Just going to get a ton of bolts clogging up all the superchargers. And people
they charge
people
at
who
like
spent
20
six figures,
kilowatt hours.
You're going to show up in your Plaid Model S and have to wait in line for all the bolts that are charging and be like... But, I mean, it's an interesting question because Tesla has this mission, and a lot of people just feel that shouldn't Tesla favor their primary customers first? Shouldn't we give incentive to them? Shouldn't we take care of them? And Tesla is kind of in this way saying, like, no, we're on Team Electric. We don't want to prioritize our own customers' preferences or whatever, because a lot of people clearly like the exclusive network and want it to stay that way. So it was a tough decision. I think our call would have been the right one.
Their decision is wrong.
Ooh, you used the
Randy's
W word
off.
with Tesla. Wow.
Yeah,
ladies
I
and
made the
gentlemen,
wrong call.
buckle up.
I
Here we go.
am ticked. Their decision is wrong because unless before I start ripping into it, maybe they did this because it is expected. Start like with California and a few other states. In Canada now is saying it like we're not going to sell combustible engines after this time, so you need to get on board or cease to exist. And maybe that took some pressure off of Tesla, but at this point, you don't have enough charging stations like you do
for your first-party vehicles.
For your first-party vehicles to go from corner to corner or state to state, or not state to state, but like county to county the same way. Some counties don't even have them. They're still building them and they're still working on them. But when I get there, the first thing I see is a line. And when we talk about high density populations in areas like that, when we went to the Fashion Valley Mall or La Jolla, there are lines still there. And those things are some of the biggest.
They still have 30 superchargers.
Yeah, those are some of the biggest ones I've seen throughout the country. Texas has some decent sized ones too, and there's lines. One thing I learned from my road trip is no matter where I was going, I'm waiting. The only time I wasn't waiting is when I'm driving at night or when I'm trying to go against normal hours, quote unquote. But the idea of giving it to these legacy automakers to be like, all right, Chevy, good job, your pat on the back, without having some, unless they're getting a cut from something, from Chevy or Ford or whatever, these guys need to incur the same amount of idle fees as we do, but we have a bottleneck already just with the Model Ys now being deployed. I saw an instant wait time when the Ys started deploying last year, and that was just in one spot. When I was driving cross country, I saw more Ys than anything. That is the car. That the Model Y is to Tesla what the F-150 is to Ford, and I guess every gas vehicle at that point. They're everywhere, and these poor guys are. It's a supply and demand issue, and you can't incentivize Chevy or Ford or any of these other guys that were using a whole nother network that you either needed the Volt app or the Charge Up app to find their own networks for the different level charging speeds like that. These guys only have but one or two charging stations for their own stuff in garages or parking lots. Volta had like 2 next to the 17 charging stations for Superchargers. There's an off balance of vehicles and stations already.
Yeah.
Just with the separation of exclusive Tesla and here's your adapter for that, and they're like, all right, well, we want to use an adapter for the charging stations. There's it didn't fix anything because it's already off balance. All this does is make me and encourage me to charge home and plan that way. Because I feel bad for people in LA, San Francisco, San Diego, just to name what I've seen with my own eyes. I feel bad for those guys because those guys are already feeling it right now. And when people have to drive long distances and use the only means to do it is to get to a charging station. I almost didn't have a garage to charge my car here. So I was going to have to use something at a gas station. Unless Tesla does something right now that is doubling the already existing locations and you double it, we're screwed. Let alone adding more than just one every 30, 40, 50 miles or so, because that will get you from point A to point B technically in the amount of time without your battery dying, even for the oldest vehicles. But all you're doing is then just kicking the rock down the road, and we're still avoiding this issue. We don't have the infrastructure ready for everybody else. We would have had it. Nick was nail on the head, spot on. We would have had it ready for these small startups that are just as niche as Tesla was considered just a year ago. Now we're considered not because of Model Y, but even though we're not on paper economically or investing wise not considered niche or small business, the infrastructure is still not 100% still like that. Just because you have a location 30 miles from here to get to a charging station doesn't mean you have enough chargers. Now you're sitting and waiting longer than you would at Walmart or Costco or any of these other or Buc-ee's or any like these other ones. People are just going to be sitting away. But you need the infrastructure like Buc-ee's where it's just one big block to accommodate for all these volts and all these hybrids that will take some type of the whole thing is wrong. And I don't know if they're trying to do some favors or some backdoor deal that's happening, but it doesn't incentivize Aptera or Rivian or any of these other guys to be like, look, we want to exist in this thing because they don't have the capital to move quick enough. You want to be Team Electric, support the people who are on board with the vision. At a philosophical level, Tesla missed the cue. They're being more like a business and less of a visionary at this point. And maybe it might make sense economically, but it doesn't make sense for the vision. It doesn't make sense for the customers, and it doesn't make sense unless the caveat is you have to double the stations that we have now, or put more if I went to Virginia Beach, I need more than just one location. They don't even have one in Virginia Beach. They have one right outside of it in the Norfolk area. But Virginia Beach is one of the most populated cities in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put at least 2 of them in there. But no, they're treated like malls and what. That's not good enough anymore. You can't just put them in shopping centers and malls. You need to get them in the same level that you have a McDonald's or a Starbucks or a gas station to make it, to move the flow. Then I think that level would incentivize everybody else on the legacy side to move quicker too. But no, now we're just going to be sitting and waiting, and I don't agree with that.
When me and Mike went to pick up Louise's dad from the airport, we went to a supercharger that was full, so we had to dart over to a different one. And I was thinking of that because people were like, "Drew, you don't have a Tesla. What are you talking about?" And I was like, "This has directly impacted me, and I don't even own one." And saying the few times I have been on a Tesla, I've gotten stuck waiting for a supercharger to open up. Yeah. So I know for a fact they don't have more chargers than they need. They have less chargers than they need.
And it's getting worse.
To add, you can add more. The other concern I guess it brings for me is it makes it easier for third-party EV makers to stop trying with charge networks.
Exactly.
They're going to be able to just keep saying with every EV they unveil now, once the adapter's out and Tesla officially launches it. They haven't technically launched it yet, but they say they're going to by the end of this year. And when they do, every third-party EV maker is just going to say, we support the biggest charging network in the world, the Tesla Supercharger, and they have that map, and they say, look at all the places you can go to, and I'm sure they'll build it into the navigation system, unless they're VW, because that's too hard. But Ford will and Chevy will, and they'll be like, here's all the charge stations you can stop at, all these Tesla Superchargers you can charge here, charge here.
They're just going to call them Superchargers. They're going to conveniently misplace the fact that it's Tesla, because Tesla can't succeed.
Don't mention Tesla. They'll just call them fast charging stations. And just add every supercharger to the dot of map of compatible chargers.
Exactly.
And then other EV makers are just not going to see a point in expanding the network because they're like, we got a big one already. Tesla will do all the work for us for free, and we get to reap the benefits of it. So I'm thinking maybe could they slow the rollout of the adapters? Could they not make very many of those and have real long wait times for people trying to order the adapter so that not everyone can do it all at once? But
that might work because I was waiting a long time just to get my 220 adapter.
It took forever. That might be a good way of them slowing it down, but
but that ultimate that's the band-aid to the problem that we're trying to slow down because we're just not ready. That's the problem. Is it's not ready to do that yet. You could have been ready by doing smaller rollouts. If you want to roll it out, start small. Start small the same way you started small with the Model S and smaller with the first Roadster. Start small first just to kind of gauge to see how it's going to work. And what's better than getting these other full-on EVs? Give them an incentive.
I will say I'm pretty excited though that the Aptera now can supercharge. I'm like,
that is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't the way I suggested it would go, but
at least it can.
My dream of the solar-powered, super efficient electric vehicle that will technically be able to use superchargers. I just hope that Tesla will let them use. At this point, why wouldn't Tesla let other EV makers use the Tesla connector?
Right.
Why not? What's the loss? There's really no reason to.
Yeah,
right?
I guess just proprietary stuff, but then even at that point, Tesla's patents are all open source. So, I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, royalty money, I guess, but Tesla doesn't need that. They're paying. They're selling enough carbon offset, whatever's.
Yeah. I just personally think the Tesla connector looks so much better than CCS or
that's so clean and
any of the other connectors I've seen on the other makers are so bulky and huge, and it looks awkward when people try to plug in the Taycan or the ID4. It's like this big giant clunky port, and they're like, okay, here we go. Whereas the Tesla one feels like they actually thought about how it feels when you pick it up. They're just like, it's just a little bit bigger than, I don't know, I guess it's a lot bigger than a phone charger, but it feels like just as elegant. It fits in the hand very gracefully. It's very smooth instead of this giant brick that hangs out on the other end. So if I was an EV maker, knowing that Tesla is opening up their supercharging network and that anybody will be able to access those, I'd be like, yeah, let's just buy connectors from Tesla. Why do we need to buy CCS? That takes up a lot more space on the car, and we'll be able to say that you don't need to buy an adapter to use the supercharging network. You can just show up at any of them and it will use the same port, and you just got to do the billing stuff through the app, which I think is probably going to feel a little clunky, but
yeah, people get used to it because right now, even if you go to other third-party chargers, you still need to have an app and an account and your credit card and all that fun stuff. So a lot of the Bolt owners out there are already used to that.
Oh, yeah, they have a whole folder on their phone
just charging
for
apps.
Charging apps. But I think Randy did too, because there was a place he was charging that was free, right?
For
your car charging.
Your car.
Yeah.
Hi, Randy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the EV Podcast.
I'll explain why I got disconnected in a second. But yeah,
Did
Volta,
Elon tweet again?
No.
Are you tweeting again, Elon? I'm in the middle of recording. You, dude.
Volta,
He's sitting over there.
Volta's free. Charged up. I'll tell you the name of the app. Charge.
I hope Tesla makes a separate app for supercharging.
ChargePoint.
I think it's
ChargePoint.
ChargePoint.
Okay.
That sounded familiar.
Yeah, ChargePoint and Volta.
I think it'd be weird.
Yeah.
How they described it currently is it sounds like you go through the normal Tesla app, which sounds like making the app overly complicated, in my opinion.
As always.
Yeah.
As
Will
always.
this use the Tesla app, the same app that owners use to operate their car, or will this be a Tesla charging app? Because I know
Well, that's what
Elon
I'm
said
saying.
via the Tesla app.
That's what I'm complaining about.
Oh.
I'm saying it's confusing me because they keep saying you'll use the Tesla app, but I'm
Okay.
like, I don't think you want to add all this unnecessary code to the owner's app. You should just have a separate app that's just for supercharging.
You know, Elon, he's
third
talking out
parties.
of his butt. He doesn't. He doesn't have the specifics lined up.
It's on a whiteboard somewhere.
Yeah.
Make app for supercharging.
They're gonna have a separate app for supercharging, the same way
I hope.
ChargePoint and Volta and all those other guys would have it, because the Tesla app is strictly your account with your battery bank if you have the wall charger or solar panels, or if you have a vehicle or vehicles. It has nothing to do. If anything, the one thing it doesn't give me is information about charge stations. That's the one thing it
I
doesn't
hope you're
have.
right, but that's not what they're saying so far.
I mean,
which has me frustrated. But I'm on your side. I think it makes far more sense to do it. You can imagine the little supercharger icon you have in your car, just on a red background. It would be so clean. It'd be such a simple app. It'd be such a good app that the third-party EV makers would want, the customers would want a Tesla after using the app. They're like, ooh.
But then you would
so
you would
clean.
have to pay the de facto global tax for it being another app.
Oh, you went there.
Oh, no.
Another app. Thanks, Elon.
Thank you, Elon. We appreciate you.
De facto app. Yeah, I think it would make sense to keep it separate, but I don't know. Tesla sometimes they want to put everything into one app because that's, I don't know, easier for some reason. I don't think it is, though, because now when you set up that app, you're going to have to say, I'm an owner or I'm a Supercharge customer. Just adds another step in there. I don't know. I don't want to deal with that. But I don't know. Maybe they're playing 4D underwater chess, and I do agree that this will make it much easier for people to switch to electric. Like if you're just talking about ideas and they know they don't have to go to a specific charger, and when they see a supercharger, they know they can charge there whether or not they have a Tesla. That will make it, I think, a little simpler moving forward. You know, we definitely don't have that with gas stations.
Yeah.
We don't have the Ford station and the VW station. You just go to any gas station. And I think long term, in the end, it's going to make more sense for everything to just be accessible so that you know you can go to any charge network, doesn't matter which one, and you'll be able to charge, because that's the fear a lot of people have with switching to electric now. It's just they don't have the infrastructure. That's the problem. So I think there was a more elegant way of transitioning to that future, because if everyone switches to electric, then everyone will be able to use the supercharger network. But Instead, we just let everybody dogpile.
You know why it feels like dirty? Like just like I don't want to touch it because this is the right move when we have mass adoption, and we're not there yet. That's why. So now I gotta see all these stupid non-Teslas hogging it up.
I did see a video talking about how the Taycan doesn't fit in the supercharging stalls very well. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
The Taycan charger is in the front of the car, not the back. So, and it's on like the opposite side. So when someone pulls into a supercharger, they had to like reach the cable all the way over, or they had to use the charger that's for the stall next to them. And they were like, this is awkward, or it's going to show up incorrectly on the network and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I could still see a lot of Taycan owners saying, nah. Even if they could technically use superchargers, they'd just be like, no thanks. Just for the parking headache.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta charge, you gotta charge.
This is another reason to not open up to everyone, because if a bunch of Taycan owners start showing up to superchargers and they have to park in them all weird and take the stall next to them to plug in and that type of thing, I was like, yeah, this is not thought out. This is just going to be clunky, and it's going to make people turn the supercharger network into more of a, I don't know, it's a bizarre parking situation. Well, he's charging, so I guess he's allowed to be there. He's not taking up a space, but he's not using the space next to him, which means that the stall he's actually in can't be charged with because of where connectors are laid out and that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just clunky. It's messy.
It's that
Don't
weird.
like it.
It's that weird switching between all the different versions of USB, mini, micro, A, C, B. And you got all these different variances, and now you're like, oh, I need an adapter for this. I needed to reach for that.
Yeah.
It's just one big old daisy chain of cables, and they
and
overall
Europe and Asia were on top of this.
Yeah.
They got a standard down really early, and the U.S. did not, and that's why we have this problem. In Europe, they won't need adapters. They'll just plug right in. Everybody uses the same connector. So that was the way to do it. It's too late now. But
so smart.
I also, after being to several superchargers myself, I'm very worried about the Cybertruck because I don't see how that's going to fit in so many of the stalls I went to, like with its width and length and...
Yeah, but Cybertruck is going to be smaller, the final one, right? That's what they said. It might fit now.
Not much. Not. He said around 3%, which I don't think makes a massive difference.
Maybe if he told us or just showed us, Elon.
Oh, if only.
I'll ask him. How much bigger is it going to be, Elon?
Because
it's going to be about 5% shorter.
I think this might be a legitimate... I think it might be a legitimate problem when the Cybertruck launches. Like, it will actually be a downside that people complain about. It's just that they can't fit or they're too bulky.
Kind of like me trying to put on my shirts from 2 years ago.
Just like that. Plus, there's not a ton of superchargers in Texas, right?
I can only talk about... No, there's...
I can look at the map compared to Fremont in California.
No, yeah, nothing like that. But they actually put one online when I was in transit from when I first left California and I made it to Austin. I saw one or two more come online. I was like, hey, look at that. Where they only had but the one.
Oh, good.
And now they have like three, and two of them weren't there before I left. So, in that sense, they were moving quick, but we need more. We need more. If it's at this rate of how quickly they're doing it, or in this case, how slowly they're doing it, I won't complain if it's still at least growing and it stays within Tesla. But now, if we're gonna have all these other vehicles, then no, you got to move quicker than that, guys. You have to. I don't know.
Tesla's website lets you apply to host a supercharger at your business.
That's a thing.
Which I think is cool. I want to apply to put one in like my yard. I think
then you'll have every Tom, Dick, and Harry stopping by, and
Do you think
This really is
Tesla owners
Talos
will
of
be
EV.
Yeah. Do you think Tesla owners will like shame the non-Teslas? Could you see that happening?
Oh yeah, there's going to be lots of side eyes, I'm sure.
They're gonna be like spitting at them and how dare you
Well,
come in my network?
maybe. I was getting pretty shaded on in Texas for being a California plate EV. I was, getting ran off the road and stuff like that. I was like, okay, so this is the game we're gonna play. Well, I choose violence then, but
I choose violence.
because we're getting bullied. Now, what do you do when you get bullied? You try to learn from it? No, you pass it on. You pay it forward. Now you haze the new people. Hey, what up, Pipsqueak? Welcome to the lot.
Welcome to the real charge station. This is where the real EVs charge.
Welcome to the initiation, baby.
They all surround the bolt.
It's like a sorority. Yeah. Well. Look who matriculated to the Supercharging network.
Look who couldn't afford a standard range Model 3. Let's see how this goes.
Look who thought this was just a fad.
Oh, well. Guess I'll give up on the supercharger topic.
All right. Well.
Do you have predictions or expectations for AI Day?
Well,
FSD?
Any empty promises or?
Yeah, AI Day is gonna would just blow our brains. I think Elon did just confirm a few hours ago that they will be doing some more Doge computer. What is that computer called?
Dojo.
Doge
is the cryptocurrency.
I know Doge, but I knew it was close to Doge,
yeah,
but it wasn't quite.
Yeah.
So I expect we'll see a lot more of that. Hopefully that means great things are happening. From what I've heard, talking with even Tesla engineers who have visited SpaceX, they're like, yeah, the number of people who work on the Tesla app is like 2. They're literally 2 developers who make the Tesla iOS
makes
app.
sense.
And the number of people who are working on the FSD team is like less than 50. And so being able to see what these engineers are able to do is really exciting. And just given that low number of employees, like I would have thought Tesla would have had at least 1,000 employees on FSD.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's mostly just big, powerful computers being used innovatively. So I'm excited to see what Dojo updates we have. Other than that, though, I'm not expecting anything. I think they're going to say, coming at the end of this year, we'll have the beta out to everybody. And then we'll be here this time next year talking about how the beta is still not here out for everybody.
If the beta, if I don't have FSD by the end of the year, I'm not talking about it anymore until I get it.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Okay.
You better come with your own EV subjects then.
I will.
You'll have to bring something else.
It'll be about how I'm slowly selling off my stock.
Ooh, really?
No,
You're that mad?
No, probably not. No, probably not.
Okay.
But I will.
I wouldn't do that either.
It hurts too much to keep talking about it.
I think it'll be end of the year. That's my prediction. I know very well I could be wrong, but I'll stick to it. That's my prediction.
If they don't do it, and I don't talk about it,
the beta for the record. Yeah.
I'm talking about the beta. I'm talking about me having something to review. Because my God, this is. You want to talk about a tech drought? I'm talking. This is a FSD drought. Like, hey, 2 weeks.
There's a lot going on internally.
There is, but I'm not part of that internal process. So what do I look like?
You gotta spam Elon more.
Oh yeah,
on Twitter.
Maybe he'll send me a winky face.
Yeah, Nick should have gotten back to him on that tweet.
Elon, do you want to just quickly tweet Randy a winky face, just to make him feel equal?
If he winks at me, I'm just gonna start being a little bit promiscuous and just.
Yeah, I don't mean level 3 or robotaxis by the end of the year. I just mean the city street turning and stuff that we're seeing on the limited beta. I think that could be out by the end of this year.
Just give me at least my $6,000 that worth of content, or not content, but of features. Give me that. You're gonna take a subscription, but you're not gonna give me FSD. Like, come on now. No.
I'm trying to remember the last thing they changed to the public FSD package. Like, was it Smart Summon? Was that like the last feature?
It was time frame of release. That's the last thing they changed.
Yeah, the time frame
Summon
changes by the minute.
Wasn't, I don't know if this was the last one, but wasn't one of the things about the display as well, what you were able to actually see in live time with all the readings it was doing?
Yeah, they did add stoplights and stop signs, I think, in mid 2019. I remember
2019.
because Model Y Mike got his Tesla, and I remember they didn't do that back then. They couldn't see stop signs or stoplights. And then, like, that summer, they got the update, and they started seeing stoplights and stop signs. And they give the little chime when it turns green, that type of thing.
I felt like that was more recent than that.
I think it was 19.
Stoplights, stop signs, the chime. The chime is the newest thing. The chime was the most recent thing that I remember using.
Okay.
Smart Summon.
Even Elon called it a party trick.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Kind of is.
Well, it most definitely is. Yeah.
You remember that one video we got, Randy, of you doing Smart Summon, and the guy was just like carrying his groceries or whatever, and he was just like, "What is going on with that car?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Every
that's all
time-
it is. That's all it is.
I do it every time I'm in a parking lot. I will summon it if it will let me connect. Honestly, I think the last feature I got was the chime.
Wow.
And that must have been over a year ago by now.
If you're right about that,
your car was doing that when we visited you.
Was it? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then you're
That's the first time I witnessed it. No one talks about that. So I just remember sitting in your car and then the light going off when it turned, the sound chiming when it turned green.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
So somewhere in that time frame then, okay, so then the very last thing had to have been the chime, unless it was with the same rollout that I didn't have to, the whole acknowledging the stock or the accelerator coming to a stop and go. That was one of the last FSD minor revisions that came out, because I remember before you could just go in enhanced autopilot and it would just follow the car in front, and no matter what, it would follow it, and it would stop regardless if I was coming to a stop sign or intersection. And then the update said acknowledge the stock. But then in that same here's how I remember. Acknowledging the stock or the accelerator, maintaining a certain level of speed based off of whatever the speed light was posted. So if you have to go 35, but everyone's going 45, I'm stuck at 35. But then that changed.
Right.
And then the chime. So speed limit, driving, chime, and engaging with this with something in the cabin to acknowledge that you're ready. Those three things, how I remember it, was encompassing the last little update. I don't remember much about the smart summon. It does not smart park, so that's a thing still. Nope. Yeah, it was so minor. Dude, that's why I think man, you're bringing up some stuff I repressed. That's why I think I feel so agitated, because it was so
It's
small.
like nothing has been done. Yeah. And the limited beta has been very limited for it's coming up on the year mark in a couple months here. So that makes everyone on the public build feel kind of like, where's this going?
If we're coming up on the year mark, was that when they went up to 10,000?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. I remember the jump being very last minute. It was like the jump from 7K to 8K was like a couple months later. And then after the jump to 8K, they were like, oh, it's 10K like next week. It was like really quick.
You're right.
they suddenly were like, oh, we're going there. We're going there fast. And thankfully, they have not increased the price since then. But I have to imagine it's going to go up if they wide release the beta.
Right. Especially with the subscription now.
Right. That's going to encourage people to either subscribe or realize how much better value it is to not subscribe and pay outright. But I'm hoping for videos. Like, I liked the FSD video we got at Autonomy Day. And I want to just see a bunch more of that in more harsh conditions, like the internal builds they're showing with heavy rain or weak lane markings. And I'd like to see those types of updates with, here's what we think full self-driving can be, and here's how close we are. And I would personally really appreciate a change in narrative. I don't want robo-taxis end of next year, or, this will be feature complete, level 5 by end of this year. Those types of things always make me roll my eyes, and it annoys me. And I'm hoping that there could be a tad more self-awareness, given Autonomy Day was beginning of 2019, and here we are mid-2021, and they're having another day where, if we look at the differences in the public build between then and now, there's so little changes. So it must be awkward for them to be making these claims of feature complete and then robo-taxis by end of 2020, and then halfway through 2021 we'll have another day, we'll have another something to talk. And recruitment, that's important, but I don't think it bodes well for the confidence in the software being done. If you're trying to recruit more people, that means you probably need more development to be done. So
if there's
just not a good.
If Elon's self-aware about the 2-week joke thing, I feel like they should have enough self-awareness about this whole level 5 robo taxis.
Yeah.
Stop saying that. Just stop.
Agree.
Just stop.
What
I would love a name change.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what if they just changed the name from full self-driving to kind of self-driving?
They would give me. I would give a standing ovation if they changed it. Kind of self-driving works. I like that.
Kind of self-driving. Elon,
that's a
write
very
that down.
accurate description.
Can you write that down for me, Elon? Thanks. Kind of self-driving.
Even just Autopilot Plus or whatever, Autopilot Pro, just calling it something better than Autopilot, but pretty much anything other than full self-driving. I feel like that's the worst possible name you could give something that is absolutely not full self-driving. You call it babysitting driving, because you got to watch over what the car does and everything. So
take a break.
A name change in timeline projections would be great if they just looked at it more as, we're working on it and we'll get it out as soon as we can. They didn't really provide the robo-taxi much of a comment at the last earnings call, which I was glad that they didn't go off on that again. Mm-hmm. But of all the flack I give Tesla for it, I do think it's a very important thing that they're focusing on, and I do understand the obsession, because anybody who does crack the robo-taxi code is going to make billions and quickly, and it's a huge cause of deaths. Car crashes. So it's a very noble and it's a reasonable thing to go after. I'm not saying they shouldn't try to achieve autonomous driving, and I think it's a great thing for the company. It's definitely one of the things that I have much more interest in Tesla for over any other company, is just all the autonomy features. So it's a great thing they're doing. They just need to describe it better.
That's fair.
It's important.
What about the fact that we have all of these Teslas just running people off the road and just making explosions happen? Can you believe that Elon Musk would allow that to happen? He's giving me this side eye right now. Oh well. Tweet about it. See if I care.
Tweet about it. It's like cry about it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say, Randy?
When I'm thinking about this, the off-roading. I'm thinking about the
off-roading.
No, I was gonna say, I wonder if they were pushing this whole robo-taxi thing so early on because they weren't being taken seriously outside of everything else, and they're like, oh, this is a little company that's got some computer stuff, and they were just like, oh, we're gonna just make declarations that really can't sustain anything, because that's around the time they're trying to sell Tesla too. It's like they were trying to market themselves to be bought, and they're just making claims. Like you have to pitch yourself, and what happens when you do an interview? You always kind of embellish a little bit. You overemphasize on some stuff to make yourself more marketable. And I think about this whole robo-taxi thing and how absurd that timeline was mentioned then, and how it is absurd now. And it was a time when they're trying to sell themselves. So maybe maybe some people, Elon, maybe some people haven't let go of the whole pitch part, and because to the sentiment of what you're saying, Drew, like I would just want you to be a little bit more honest with yourselves about certain timelines. You know, I know you are not buying what you're saying to us, but you're trying to just please the press, the audience, the fan, make some memes out of it, and all that. And it's one thing to generate hype, clickbait, or so to say, and things like that. But it's another when you guys know that that's not attainable at this time. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not even saying you're wrong or that's not possible. But I'm saying your timelines just aren't realistic. And I just want a little bit more honesty with what they really feel, because I can appreciate that. I can still support it. I do support it, and I still believe in it. I just don't trust your timelines anymore. Everything that we complain about has nothing to do with can it be done or not. It's about when it's going to be done. And if they could just be more honest about FSD, more honest about deliveries, more honest, because the semi met the same fate now because of it. Just if you could just be more honest with your deadlines and just be like, I don't know. I will take an honest I don't know than we're looking about 2 weeks from now or at the end of the year. It's just whatever you say.
Yeah, me too.
I'm tacking on more time now. And I think it started when, and I'm like, why, how did we get to this point? It's because they were trying to sell the company. And they needed to embellish their resume a little bit to be more applicable or more appealing to people to want to purchase. But now they're past that. So get past the embellishment. Just be like, this is where I'm at. Just be a little bit more honest, because now the stats speak for themselves. Semi is not going to be the most delayed vehicle. FSD is not. There's nothing F about it. So
no,
it's
not at all.
Yeah, that was my concluding thought on it. It's like I think they just need to get past this idea of like we need to be relevant with what we're trying to push the vision for. We see the vision, and you are very much relevant, and that's not what's driving stock or the health of the company or even sales.
Now it's action.
It's all about action
driving stock.
Model Y is your most successful launch, and that's not by accident. So just approach other parts of the company the way you approached Model Y. They were honest about it, and they even beat deadlines.
Right.
So that was cool.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because that's probably never going to happen again.
No.
Yeah, those were good times.
Those were good times.
It was an exciting time, knowing that something from Tesla came out 6 months ahead of schedule, and they were like, yeah, this pickup truck is coming later this year, and no one knows what it looks like. And Elon was like, I've seen some renderings floating around the internet. None of them are right. And that's because you gave us a concept picture that was not accurate at all. You know? So we didn't have much to work off of. But yeah, there was just a lot of promise then, and there was a lot of hope, and now it's just realities, I think, setting in a bit more. But I believe in the confidence, and I believe that it's a worthy thing to go after, and I think more companies should be trying harder to just be more Tesla-like in general, like with software updates and making over-the-air improvements and building out your own charger network and saying, like, you know, there's a discussion to be had about timelines. I think we've even had that discussion on the podcast about how if you say something is going to take 1 year instead of 10 years, you may not be done in 1 year, but you'll be a lot further along than you would have been if you would have stuck to 10. So maybe Tesla wouldn't be trying so hard or developing as fast if they had the mindset of robotaxis might never happen, might come out in a few decades. So if that was their thought process, maybe they wouldn't be working as aggressively. I don't know.
That's a fair point.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Kind of goes back to that, like, what incentivizes the employees and the speed of all of this. And yeah, if you know that you're working on something that you're not going to see results for decades, just from a legal regulatory perspective, that might not be as exciting as something that you could see happening within the next few months, you know?
Right. I just feel that, like, there has to be there's one thing about hip hip hooray and motivating people, but there has to be a level of accountability. And
True.
there's no way.
It's a good balance in there.
Yeah, there is a balance. That's all. I'm just asking for a balance. I'm not saying just be completely upfront. Hey guys, we kind of screwed up here, and like
So air power might not be coming.
Yeah, you need to protect your company, your branding, and all that. I totally get that, and I'm for that. But there's no way somebody at the top, whether it's Elon or somebody directly below him, there's no way somebody up there was buying this robo-taxi promise, for example. I do not understand that to be true. I can't acknowledge that. I agree about motivating the people. Look what we can do. But even people who are that aspirational, we can get this out. We can get this out. We've worked with people like that with our, developing the app. Since we talked about the app today, I might as well just bring it up on this show too. When we did the Tailosive app, it was always, I can get that out by next week, and it was never next week.
And that's how software development goes, though.
And that's how software development goes. So to that level,
you have two problems in front of you. You solve one, and you think you're about to solve the other one, and then seven more problems show up.
The difference between us and this multi-billion-dollar company was that we didn't tell people something that wasn't that we couldn't stand behind.
Yeah.
That's the difference. We can have those internal conversations, and Elon could push this for these deadlines and stuff like that.
Sure.
But if we had investors, I wouldn't be telling people. I wouldn't lie. I mean, there's a level of accountability. I need to, and I need to be responsible for your trust. And that's how they need to do with us. And the thing is, because what's weird is that they do have my trust. They have my trust about the products that they make and the software that goes into it. And everybody
you trust them with your life
thing.
Every time you get in the car.
Every time. You have my trust. Yeah. So it's not that I don't believe you. Your just deadlines are so weird. I'm jaded by deadlines. And it's not because I'm a buyer in one of them. It's just because it's all about balance. We want the Cybertruck news to come out because we're all excited about it, because we're fans about it, and like this is exciting time for this industry. And we want semis to roll out more so because then it's cooler to show what's happening on the inside behind the customer experience, that what's happening, that look, they're preaching what they say and they're doing what they're saying with their own semis now as well. We want Roadster to be successful and come out because that's just a cool, sexy looking car. We're all for it. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. I don't know if it's the thing is I don't know if it's just Elon. That's another thing, and rightfully so. We don't have business knowing about all the inner workings of the company like that. I get that, but when Elon gets on to things like Apple App Store fees are the de facto global, and you're just saying stuff, man. I'm like, oh, that's Elon, and I don't want to normalize that because a level of accountability of like, hey, man, you got a company, and it's one thing if you're gonna do stuff like that. Right after you're saying, oh, look, he's lying and he made a boring book and that's not how it happened. Okay, cool. But it's one thing when you would like, it's about you, it's about the brand, but it's another one, it's about the product. And I'm strictly focused on the product. I'm excited about the product. And a part of it's like, come on, let's see Cybertruck. Let's see FSD or enhanced autopilot. Let's see all these things that we know is there because you've shown videos and we've seen things and some stuff we've seen in person. All this is cool. It's right there. And then it's like, and no, never mind. The tease is too much.
Yeah. And it bites them back. If you're just focused on the financials and how the company's performing today, you should consider that there can be legal ramifications for making overly ambitious promises. Like the one I saw recently that I was having a hard time defending was Tesla, I think at the end of 2016, started saying all vehicles come with full self-driving hardware.
Yep.
They were basically making the claim that it's all a software game now, and they technically kind of backpedaled on it because they made the full self-driving computer later, and the difference was they offered free retrofits.
Yeah. I was going to say,
so,
you're right.
They made it better, though. So
they made it better. They improved the chip, and then anybody who bought full self-driving got the chip for free. But then when the subscription launched, you did not get the full self-driving computer for free. Yeah. If you had hardware 2.5 or 2, they were like, oh, to subscribe to full self-driving, you need to buy this chip for $1,000. And everyone was like,
how cool is it, though, that they make that switchable? right? Like,
Oh, it's great.
could you imagine if our iPhones could just, switch out like a little thingy and we just get like,
Oh, for sure.
like a little SIM card, you just slide in the
I
A16X
love
chip,
that.
and then, that would be so cool.
I think it's amazing.
And it's great that Tesla does that, right? Because
Yes.
then it allows them to be able to keep relevant. Because as software continues to get better, so is hardware. And as we're waiting around for software right now, who knows if it's going to be 5 months or 5 years. At some point, we're going to have FSD, hopefully. And at that point, I'm sure Hardware 3 computers are going to be fairly outdated, if not completely outdated. So,
For sure.
that's kind of a bad promise on
I
there.
don't disagree with the... Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't disagree with offering retrofits. And I think $1,000 is more than fair. That's a great deal to get a brand new computer powering the machine and having improvements over. And I think it's awesome that they offered the 2012 Model S owners to get the 4G upgrade through an MCU upgrade. I'm like, that's like your car's 10 years old and they're like, let's give it a new faster computer so you can have LTE and that type of thing. That's wonderful. And I'm super glad they do that. But when you have these overly ambitious timelines, that's where the legal trouble can come in, is they can say, but you said these have all the hardware and all the hardware is included, but now you're charging extra. So now they got another class action on their hands and they might have to pay the bills for that. And that's money that could be spent on factories or batteries or R&D. That's money better spent elsewhere. So I just wanted that thrown out there because I know there's some people that are like, it's in the past. They said what they said. Let's focus on the future. Let's no, that will cost them literal money. That can cause problems by saying too much or claiming to be too ambitious, which is why the internal timeline thing is probably a better way to go about it, because you want to motivate your engineers and you don't want anybody thinking, well, we don't have to do that till next year. It's like, no, do everything as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. Let's get this out. Let's get it done. But when you go public and you start making these claims,
there's regulations are involved for a reason. That you can't just. It's false advertisement.
Especially when FSD goes up in price, it feels fairly scam. Buy now before it gets more. You better get it now quickly. That's how they got me. I'll be honest. If they did.
If they didn't say all that stuff, I can't say with confidence I would be an FSD owner. But I don't even feel like I'm an owner now.
If you would have known the timeline, like if you would have known the features of July of 2021, you wouldn't have bought it.
Had I known, I would have just wait for subscription. If it was going to be this long, I was fully expecting.
It's kind of sketchy.
Within the first year, being able to do all these things. I don't feel like I was cheated, but I do feel like I was played. Like my emotions were taken advantage of because I was excited. And they knew that, and that's where I have a certain level of contempt and just a jadedness towards Tesla. But that is, I'm not canceling anything. I'm not because I know what I'm buying when I buy in early anything, and that's where I'm at with any of this. If they come out, it's like, you know what, we just can't do it. I would really hope I get.
That would be so sad.
It would be so sad, and I would be really upset about it. And then I would say, "Can I get a refund?" And if they say no, then I'm like, I was a $6,000 investor. Maybe I'm not mad because I made my money back in the stocks, so maybe that's a level of I'm okay. But also but there's that doesn't make it okay, for taking advantage of people's opportunity to invest like that with the model. I didn't buy a Model S or a Roadster or an X. I'm a guy who bought a mid price ranged vehicle on the promise of that this was going to be for the masses and stuff like that. I don't speak for everybody about their upsetness and stuff like that, but I am still hopeful, and I still wait for the day that is hey, it's coming, because they're doing, the thing is that's not all doom and gloom. They are doing so many things right still with the infrastructure. The biggest problem is they just can't keep up. That's what it is. It's not because it's wrong. It's because Tesla's biggest enemy is timing. Timing with everything is their biggest enemy, and that's something that you can't really fight against. It's linear. It goes one way, and what's done is done. But they're not doing anything wrong. And this is as we're alluding to with the overall presence of it, this is still moving everything forward. This is moving people to act like, get it all done today. No, there is no tomorrow. Get it done today. We don't have time for tomorrow. And that's cool. And some things get rushed. Sometimes there's been in the past quality control issues. Things have fell through the cracks in that sense, but you're still closer now today than we were a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago. And that's still a win. That's still a win in my book, because now EVs have been normalized. And they're only going to get more powerful. The upside about anything that we have to wait is that when something does come out, the tech is still going to be better than it was at the time of the TV.
Absolutely. And I think Tesla's further ahead in autonomy than anybody else.
Absolutely.
I think,
100%.
They're doing it the right way. This is, if there was a way to make robo-taxis, which no one really ever has, so we don't know what the right way is. But as far as I can see, this is the best way to do it. You want fleet data, tons of edge cases being recorded and documented, and all of your vehicles, you have your customers paying you to test the software. That's genius. Instead of having to pay software engineers to go map roads and stuff. I'm like, this is the way to do it, if there is a way. I can't think of another method of someone's like, well, we put LiDAR sensors everywhere and the car cost $200,000, but we mapped one city block and now it's working really well. It's like, it's not scalable.
Yeah.
It's not profitable. And you're going to get far less edge cases if all of your self-driving hardware costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's just, I don't see anyone else doing it the right way or in a scalable way. So I certainly think Tesla is closer to robotaxis than anybody, but I don't think anybody knows how close that really is. That's closer than anybody could still be 10 years away. So...
But still be close.
That's how I feel.
I think
I'm just aiming for level 3. That's all I want.
Right? I'm okay with anything that's not what I have right now. To be honest, but anybody can say that about any of that stuff going on.
Sure.
I'll close with this. Elon is the driving factor of pushing boundaries, and as long as he's at the helm of this whole thing, I do think that that fun side of Tesla is still going to be very much present, just like the games are, and all the fart noises and all these, and the dancing, all that stuff's going to be around because it gives it character. And Elon's a child, so all that's fun.
Elon, did you hear what Randy just said about?
Yeah, I just will say that
mad at you right now. He is mad.
He's
Don't
mad.
walk out.
He's going to tweet at you.
If someone's mad at me, it's because I'm telling some truth. I just hope. My hope is that I don't want Tesla to get so wrapped up in the obvious route of what makes a company good of doing money, which is their batteries and their infrastructure that's been established. I don't want them to get so down that hole to make Tesla, more of a long-term player than they already are now, that they lose sight of what makes them unique and fun. I don't want them to just be a services industry for other automobiles or just a battery maker for all these things. I want them to keep pushing the fun stuff that made Tesla. The same reason why they're so good looking in the first place and they're not boring Priuses or something. They went with a vision because it needs to be fun, it needs to be cool, and it needs to have all these cool little things because screw it, why can't we? That right there can, I feel, only be done with Elon, driving that part of it, because he's the one who's just so neurotic about weird stuff like that. That's great. But it is also in this corner right over here a very lucrative approach with the network and the infrastructure and the batteries and all these things that are over here that will absolutely make you more money, and one of the richest companies in the world, that more than what you are now, is an obvious route. I understand you have to take this route. I want you to take this route, but it's not one or the other. Don't forget these guys. Don't forget this stuff. That's all I'm saying. Is we're focusing on more infrastructure, building these gigafactories. Beautiful. Keep doing that, and also do this stuff too. Give me FSD. What's up, Nick?
Infrastructure, the only thing that all Americans support.
Oh,
every politician ever.
Oh my goodness.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, hopefully, whatever they need to do, they need to ramp up supercharging stations. Whether they open it up to third parties or not, they've got to really rapidly deploy tons and tons of them. So As long as they're doing that, I
I'm
guess
sorry
it's
you had
a
to see the
step
bad
in the
side
right
of that,
direction.
Drew. I didn't know you were waiting.
Yeah, we did. We stopped at one.
My condolences.
And it was full. It said there were a few stalls on the software aspect, but then when we got there, they were taken.
Oh.
So we went to another one, and there were only like 2 stalls left.
Bummer.
So it was very close to having 2 stops get clogged up. So I was like, I know what this is like firsthand. I've seen it with my own eyes. I know it's a problem. So
Yeah.
It's true. I saw
scaling
the whole thing.
I saw the whole thing. Yeah, so I'm excited for AI Day just because I'm curious to see what type of development they think they can achieve or what timelines they try to throw out for themselves. It's always interesting when they do, but any improvement is still appreciated nonetheless. And I want Randy to get his FSD. I want Mike to get his FSD too. Everybody.
I want my Cybertruck to get my FSD.
Yeah. Let's get it on everybody.
Or mostly
I don't
full
like
self-driving.
it. Just for some YouTubers get to toy around with it, and that's it. You know? But
I think you qualify, Drew.
you got to do it right. That's a good question.
Tesla gives you the full
Like-
self-driving beta, but you don't have a Tesla, so.
They're like, if you get one, you'll get it. I'm like, darn. Okay. Close enough.
Dang it, okay.
Oh, well. Closing thoughts, gents?
Did Andy get his likes? Is he?
Oh, I should check. I didn't know. I didn't look. He was at 8,000, I think, last I looked.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is he getting
To all our
So he
platinum
was-
thousands
or
of
not?
listeners.
Let me find it. There's a bunch of random tweets. Andy, what are you doing? Why are you tweeting so much? Oh, my God.
Why do you tweet? Like, what? How dare you?
Where is the... Oh, wait, did I miss it? What?
It was
Where's
like
the...
3 days ago, 2 days ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Now you got me. I'm
Watch him delete the tweet.
Ah!
That would be sad. July 23rd. I
Ouch.
don't see it.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hang on. I'm
Oh,
looking.
no.
Did he really?
No. Maybe he already got it.
Andy.
Maybe he got it and just removed the tweet.
No, he would keep
I
it
love
up
your
then.
content, but yeah, why would you take it down?
I don't know.
I don't see it. Wait. I retweeted it at some
That
point.
would break
Yes, you
my
did.
heart.
I'm
Let me
pulling it up
scroll
right
Because
now.
I even liked it.
Oh no, it's still up.
Okay, good.
Okay, I found it. I don't know why it didn't show up on his timeline. 80. No, it says this tweet has been deleted. No.
Andy, no.
Oh,
No.
come on, Andy.
No.
Yeah,
needed
I don't
to
have it
get-
on my timeline.
I didn't see it on his timeline, and I quote tweeted it, and it
Uh-huh.
was still here. But then when I opened it up at the very bottom, it says this tweet has been deleted.
Sadness.
You can't do that, man.
It's okay. It's his life. He can do whatever he wants. It's just
No,
a tweet.
it's on the
But we're
internet.
getting
It's
excited
forever.
for him.
No, if you say that's directly getting free publicity, saying that you're gonna buy something and then not buying it, that's not nice.
I mean,
That's
Drew.
not
That'd be
nice.
like,
How many Apple products
If I
have you
said
returned?
How many what?
yeah, but I didn't say I would buy them if I got 10,000 likes
Okay,
or
this
if
is
we
true.
hit 100,000 subscribers. If someone was like, if I get 250,000 subscribers by this time, then I'll buy a Mac Pro,
Yeah.
and then I do, and then I delete the tweet. You know, don't do that, people. Come on, Andy. I like your videos, but don't do that. If you're not willing to bite the bullet, then
Because he was about to
Don't-
get the.
don't.
I know.
play with fire.
Why would you? Yeah. Come on, Andy.
He was so close too. I retweeted him on several accounts. I was like, "Come on, let's get Andy that Plaid Model S."
I did my part. I was part of the movement. I wanted to see that happen. Because I like
know, me
Andy's
too.
videos.
Me too.
He was one of
I
my
do too.
first. He was. I was watching him before you even did Talos of EV. Yeah. He helped me.
I watched a lot of his stuff too. I'm trying to see if he made an update tweet on it saying like, "Sorry."
That's a bummer.
But yeah, it is. When did he tweet that again?
3 days ago.
Oh, okay. So this was recent.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't see anything. No updates. No anything.
oh, come on. I want an answer. He's tweeting about his stock market returns.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, maybe
He's tweeting
Elon
about
just needs to
Manscaped.
give him a Model S. Maybe that's the
Okay.
solution. Elon, do you want to give him a Model S? No.
Why is ice
Yeah,
cream
let's
so
just-
inferior?
Why don't you
Handing
just
them
give
out.
everyone a Model S? Oh, he is. Oh,
Yeah, really.
Okay. Elon has confirmed he's going to give every single human being on planet Earth a Model S. Starting
All
when?
right. I'm sure he'll stick with that
Oh,
timeline.
that's after.
Oh, well.
Oh, I'm
Just-
sorry. That was after we all moved to Mars and an asteroid destroys planet Earth. Then
Everyone
he'll-
on Mars
What?
gets
What's
a
that,
free
Elon?
Cybertruck.
Oh, that's after Andy gets the Plaid Model S? Oh, sorry.
Ouch.
Alrighty, folks.
All right,
I'm only
guys.
a little upset. I was
I'm
excited.
a little upset, but I'll get over
Yeah,
it.
all right.
Take care, all.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.